Welcome to Out of the Blue. Number 568.5. Today I'm going to talk about one specific thing, basically. What does it really mean? Okay, I'm talking about Neo-Swedenborgianism. What does it mean to be a Neo-Swedenborgianism? A Neo-Swedenborgianist. And it basically comes down to recognizing that you have a spirit world, like a spirit world neighborhood, just like you have a physical world neighborhood. So I live in a neighborhood. You live in a neighborhood. You live somewhere. If you're listening to me, I can say for sure you live somewhere, right? Well, just as sure as I can say I know you live somewhere if you are listening to me, I can also say I know you have a spiritual, spirit world neighborhood, just like I do. Everybody does. Okay, and so this J. Hewitt Mackenzie stuff I talk about, a lot of that, he's mapping the whole spirit world, but in a more practical sense, it's more satisfying even and simpler to think about your own spirit world. Okay, and we can use, if it makes it easier for you to swallow, we can use a small s spirit world, meaning spirits. The kind of an old-fashioned definition of the word spirits is your, how do you feel, your emotions. Are you in good spirits or bad spirits? And so your spirit world is kind of this world of your feelings. Okay? And you can map it out, but there's a specific way that it's mapped out, and it's not the J. Hewitt Mackenzie way. What I'm saying, my way, is it's mapped out with people. Okay? Now let's take anybody who might be in your spirit world. For example, Jimi Hendrix would be in my spirit world, because I grew up listening to Jimi Hendrix. I have feelings. Somebody plays some Jimi Hendrix, it affects me in my spirit land, the land of my spirits, which is my emotions, my feelings. Well, then I know all these other people who are dead, right? And let's say grandma, right? Where's grandma in relation to Jimi Hendrix? Okay? And where's grandma in relation to Gramps, let's say? Grandma and Gramps were married. Are they together in the spirit lands? It doesn't seem that way to me. But anyway, the point is that mapping out your own spirit land helps you live in this real world. Because the thing is, you already have this spirit land. You already are in this spirit land. And if you start looking around it and trying to understand it and figure out your way around, it helps. Because you'll find out that there's kind of some monsters there. Like, speaking of grandma, let's say grandma was really mean to you when you were little, which is often the case. She can become like this kind of monster in your spirit land that you're afraid to even look at. But in fact, since it's your spirit land, you kind of rule that domain. And so you can address this monster. And if you face it, no matter how big and scary it is, the closer you get, you realize that actually you're bigger. And it doesn't have the power over you thought it did. You know, there's all these helpless childhood moments when all these people have all this power over you. They can just pick you up and take you somewhere. And sometimes it's perfectly fine, but sometimes it's this power is wielded in a let's say a less than perfect way. I say less than perfect because we can all be guilty of this, because we are all less than perfect. But anyway, the idea is to acquaint yourself with your own spirit world. And just like if you move to a new neighborhood, or if you're in your neighborhood, you can walk around and acquaint yourself with your own neighborhood. And by acquainting yourself with your own neighborhood, you can get around better, because you might realize that there's a coffee shop 1 block away that way, whereas you were going to the coffee shop 2 blocks away that way. And the more you acquaint yourself with things, the better you can get around. And so this is an extremely practical thing that I'm talking about, which is getting to know who's in your spirit world, who's important in your spirit world, just running things through your spirit world. But in my experience, it's the directions and the thing, it's all people. So there's Jimi Hendrix. Like I know some people who are dead now who might be in the Jimi Hendrix neighborhood. But then there's, well, I don't have to listen to him because it's not really about my spirit world, but it's like there's these people, and I've organized it into a square. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 corners. The 4 corners, and there's the sides and that. And then if you put yourself in this square, it becomes a cube. So we're actually navigating a cube. We are at the center of a cube, and we can move around this cube. So the map of the spirit world is A, focused on people, and B, it is in the shape of a cube. Now, this is not exactly new, because if you look back at the earliest ones of these out of the blues I was doing, I have a cube, and I talk in terms of this cube sometimes. But I want to just make clear that, in fact, we are at the center of this cube, which is our own spirit land, and the way to navigate it is through individual people that you don't even have to have known them. I didn't know Jimi Hendrix. Or an author you read. You can find an old book and you read this author and it really touches your heart. Well, if it's touching your heart, that author exists in your spirit land already. And all I'm saying is, if you open the door and go look around, you can find all sorts of things, and then you can come back and you can close the door again. All right? Thanks. See ya.